Yes. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to my third book tag attempt in March. Usually I only do one day for book tags and I combine. But earlier this month, I tried to do 3 in one day and I flew too close to the sun. I got an ocular migraine and I couldn't read the rest of my own writing on the screen and had to go lie down. So we're back to do that third book tag finally, and it is the Bronte Novels Book Tag. So I've got a little poll up, and you'll have to tell me your favorite Bronte. And I just say Bronte instead of Bronte sisters. You'll see why. My name is Margaret Pennard. Welcome to my channel. I'm a historical fiction writer and eclectic reader. So what we're doing today is a book tag designed by Melinda at A Web of Stories, and I was tagged by Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. And a book tag is just a thing where you take a topic or a theme and you make a little quiz that remind you of aspects of that topic or theme. So we're going to maybe learn a little bit about the Brontes, but also just talk about books that satisfy the prompts that we liked and or loved. So tune in for that. And let's see, I was going to give a little author update because it is my drafting month. It is my mini nano, if you will, since we're not nanoing anymore. So it is the second to last day in the month, and I have been writing every day, knock on wood, of March. And I've passed the 50,000. I'm at 51,000 something. And I've probably got about 5 more days, about 6 or 7 more writing sessions. So maybe by first Friday productivity stream, I will be finished and I will let you know. But this is the first draft, so I don't know how it's going to finish yet. I'm a pantser, discovery writer. First draft of the second book in the trilogy, The Widening Gyre. So if you're interested in that progress, that is the update. We're so close to the end. It's very exciting. So yeah, so that's the author update at the top of the hour, and then we'll dive into the tag. Don't forget to answer the poll in the live chat if you're here with us, and we'll just say hi to the chat and then jump in. So hi, Anita, A.F. Stewart, fellow writer. We've got Jim's Books, Reading, and Stuff. Congrats on 51,000 something. Thank you. Says hey to the chat. Catpaw, hello, hello. Says congrats on the 50K. Thank you. I mean, I've done this many times, by now, but the 50K that Nano decided was enough for a novel, I keep thinking that sounds really short compared to today's standards. So I feel like 60K is more of like the minimum. So we'll see. We'll see where I end up. And I'm hoping it'll be around 60,000 words because that seems more meaty. Ooh, we've got a Melissa Ike in the house. Hello, Melissa. Melissa is a Charlotte. Oh, this is giving Sex in the City. I like it. Jane Eyre is one of my all-time favorite novels. Me too, Melissa. Definitely fell in love with that in high school. Oh, we've got a DD too. Hey. Good morning, friend. Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to check the poll. I'm gonna leave it up for another 5 minutes to see as people come in. Jim says definitely Emily. Well, especially because you've gotten more into poetry. I don't know if you've gone down the Emily route for poetry with your new poetry interest. Oh, okay. So yeah, I just needed to read the rest of the comment. The Old Stoic is the only English poem I know by heart. I don't know that one. I'll have to go look it up. Melissa says 50 out of 60K words. Awesome. Yay, Jane Eyre pals. Yeah, I'm going to have to overrule if the poll doesn't say Charlotte. That's okay. All right, so we're going to start. Our first question in the Bronte Novels book tag is AGNES GREY, which is a novel by Anne. Name a book about women in the workforce. And so since I can't do overlays, we're going to do this. We're going to share screen. I thought of The Crescent Moon Tea Room. So this is a historical fantasy that I read recently. It just came out last year by Stacy Savinsky. And I would call this cozy historical fantasy also, because this is about a trio of sisters whose mother has passed away, whose father has passed away, and they run a tea room. Now, to the outside world, which is sort of a pastiche of British Victorian past, it's a tea room. But to the witching community and the supernatural community, it's a fortune-telling tea room. So, they have the two types of guests to entertain. And these three sisters at this point in their lives start to experience breakdowns in communication and diverging interests. And so that is sort of the crux of how is this family going to maintain their love for each other while they're pulled after different workforce interests and others, but I won't spoil it. So yeah, women in the workforce, and it was very nicely done. Cozy because there's no like high stakes. I mean, people's livelihoods, yes, and I won't say any more to spoil it, but yeah. So yeah, cozy, historical, fantasy, very, very gentle. So I like this book for this prompt. Not very Agnes Grey. Did I read Agnes Grey? Oh, I was gonna say whether I'd read the book when I go through the prompt, and I already forgot. Yes, I have read Agnes Grey. I read it last year, I think for Victober, and it was meh. It was meh. I still want to read *Tenant of Wildfell Hall* because I think that has wild in the title. It might be a little bit more robust. Okay, prompt number 2, Jane Eyre, a book about coming of age centered on a female character. All right, look this up. Sort of spoils the suspense when you have to see me type it, but that's okay. Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. Now, this I read a couple years ago. Does it say 20? This stupid logo is in the way. 2021. I read it in 2022. Okay, so I read it 3 years ago almost. This is a book written by a Native storyteller who's also was in the government and that is now an author full-time. It's a coming-of-age novel for sure. It's about a young woman who has graduated high school, is going to community college, starts to have a couple things go wrong, realizes like there's lots of things that are wrong, and we get a little bit of a glimpse into Native American issues that are issues across tribes, across nations. So we have criminal jurisdiction. We have, just microaggressions, like some really good things to pique your interest if you don't know what the big deal is about in terms of like sovereignty and rights over water and things like this. I also really liked that this book had a lot of setting details for a real place, which is Sault Ste. Marie in Michigan, which is right in between the US-Canada border, which hotspot right now, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, and I've read the second one, which is Warrior Girl Unearthed, which is in the same community, but a different person who's, tangentially related, which I like. So it definitely stands alone, but one of the characters' backstories if you read the second one, which is cool. And I have read Jane Eyre, read it for a sophomore year English class and loved it. Visited Haworth. I have seen since then that, there are issues with the Charlotte Bronte viewpoint. But I also feel a particular affinity for Charlotte Bronte because her birthday is April 21st and mine is April 20th. So we're like Taurus buddies, cusp buddies, which I always liked. But great book, definitely recommend. So yeah, we've got prompt number 3, The Professor. Name a book by a favorite author that is not your favorite. So The Professor is by Charlotte Bronte, And I read it a long time ago, if not at the end of high school, maybe during college, and was not as cool. I had to struggle through it. So my book for this that I've read more recently is going to be a Robert Macfarlane, because I really liked The Old Ways, which is his book about, I think, 4 different places around the world where he took paths where people had walked for a really long time. So like trade routes or coffin paths or what have you. And there's one in the Middle East I remember being like surprised it was in there. And then one in the Highlands that he'd gone to again and again, that I had also visited. So I thought that was really cool. But then I read this one next and it was different. Like the writing is similar, but like not exactly what I was expecting, I'll just say. So this is, I don't know why it says there's a translator on this page, but Underland. I think he's done some language, like some illustrated books, but I think this is his last written title. And A Deep Time Journey. This is basically the same sort of thing where he takes a few different places, more than Old Ways, maybe 6 or 7 places where humans have gone under the earth, whether it's for volcano and seismic observation, or it's testing things that you can't test at the surface, or looking at the oceans, or what have you. Again, lots of interesting examples that I hadn't thought of. And some of them were already in my bailiwick that I was interested in, and some of them were a little far afield, and I was like, okay, all right, interesting. I never knew that, but like not something I'm going to go learn more about. So that qualifies. And now for a minute, we're going to stop the poll here. Let's see how many votes we've got. We've got 4 votes, and Charlotte won. So I'll end the poll now because it has a result that I like. And I love that no one voted for Branwell, because no one should vote for Branwell. He's terrible. I almost put "you suck" in the in the poll answer, and then I thought, no, I shouldn't prejudge. Okay, so I have missed some chat here. Let me see. Dee says, Charlotte fan here. Jane Eyre is my favorite. Yay! Okay, Charlotte Club. So Charlotte and Emily, yeah, both powerhouses, just very different material, I would say. Jim says, Mr. Rochester's first wife is problematic for me. Yeah. I mean, from the modern lens, yes. From the lens at the time, I mean, yeah, obviously in the plot, it's problematic as well. But yeah, the whole like biracial wife done wrong, gone insane because of her bloodline, that is definitely problematic. Melissa says, officially added to our mini Jane Eyre club that exists only in this chat. I love it. Didi says, I want to read Tenant as well. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think there are very different opinions on Anne's books. So I'd like to see for myself. Anita says, the Crescent Moon Tea Room is on my wish list. It's cute. It's cute, especially since you write in that genre. You might like it more than I did. But yeah, it's definitely a solid read. Well done. Jim says, I chose Tipping the Velvet for female coming of age, which is Nan's coming of age. I haven't read Tipping the Velvet. I haven't read Sarah Waters yet. I do have one of her books on my shelf. If it's not Tipping the Velvet, it's something with water in the title. I can't remember which one I got at the moment. Melissa says, I'm glad to know about this book. First Americans and issues First Americans communities face come up a lot in my work and Oklahoma in general. Yeah. Oklahoma, isn't it first in terms of population of I use indigenous usually, but First Americans might be the Oklahoma prevalent name. I think it's Oklahoma and then New Mexico and then Montana, maybe. I looked this up recently. So yeah, you were definitely up there. Practical birthday twins. I know. I like it. Dee Dee says, I'd say God Help the Child. Terrible. Oh, for a not your favorite? Who is that? God help the child. It sounds familiar, but I'm not placing it right now. Branwell, you suck, Bronte. Yeah. I mean, if we could all agree, we could just do it. Dee Dee says, I want to read Shirley and Villette. Yeah, I read Villette, same story. I think the professor is shorter and Villette is longer. And Shirley, see, so long ago, like I read all these and they're all sort of blending together in my head. I think Shirley was a little bit long as well. Yeah. Melissa says a friend of mine recommended Villette. I haven't read it yet, but always have it in mind when I think of Charlotte Bronte. So here's the thing. I actually have a French copy of Jane Eyre, and I haven't let it go from my big French stack like that I edited down because I wasn't reading any of them. Do you guys want to read Jane Eyre in French? I mean, we all speak French. We all know the book pretty well. Melissa says California might be first, but one of the top 5 in the country. I don't think so. But yeah, God Help the Child is Toni Morrison. Okay, thank you. And not your favorite, but favorite author. Gotcha. And Jim says, Charlotte also put Emily's second unfinished novel into the flames of the fireplace in Haworth Parsonage. Did she rewrite it, or was this after her death? Because I know a lot of editing went on by family members. Interesting. I need more Bronte gossip. Hello, Laura. Welcome. This is great. I love how we have like all these little tidbits. Okay, so we're on to prompt number 4, which is Shirley, and a book about female friendship. Okay, so Shirley, I think I've read, but it's so far back in the past. Like I unhauled it long ago and wasn't a favorite even back then. So I have the memory, but not the actual like details. And for this one, I'm going to bring up a book that I've talked about a little lately. A T. Kingfisher book, A Sorceress Comes to Call. So I read this in the audio version and it was excellent. So this is my first T. Kingfisher book, and female friendship. And I said, it's female friendship even across generations, which I really liked. So it's like solidarity, bisex, but across generations, because with The Sorceress Comes to Call, we've got 2 storylines. We've got a young girl who's running away from her toxic mother, and we've got a sister, I believe, who's dealing with a brother who like is being manipulated. And so they're both on missions, and then the missions crash together, and lots of supernatural things happening. Obviously, sorceress, witchy vibes. There is a little bit of horror, but like it was easy to get over. There's some really cool like magic things that happen in this book, so I highly recommend. And yeah, lots of humor. So I'm excited to read some other of T. Kingfisher's books after reading this one. Did I have it up on the screen? Yes, I did. Okay, good. I was afraid I was just talking the wrong thing. Okay, so that's the Shirley prompt. The next, let's see, Jim said after Emily's death. Okay, so it was like a what's Jane Austen's sister's name is Cassandra. So it was like a Cassandra Austen kind of thing where, yeah, they were afraid something would besmirch the memory of their dear departed sister. So, I mean, good intentions, right? Okay, so the next one is not going to be on the screen. It's going to be in my hand. Prompt number 5 is The Tenant of Wildfell Hall, which I have not read. This is name a book about someone in a toxic relationship or recovering from a toxic relationship. And of course, you could say Sorceress Comes to Call. And at first I put C above because the daughter and the mother relationship, or the daughter and the best friend relationship in that book, which was a surprise. Let's see. I am going to say my current read. So I'm going to worm this in because it doesn't have to do with relationships. This is For the People's Cause. It's written by James Hunter. It's edited by James Hunter, but it's really a little bit of biography about John Murdoch and then some of John Murdoch's unpublished autobiographical writings and some of the articles that he wrote for the newspaper that he owned for about 8 years called Highlander. John Murdoch was a land reform advocate, and he really went after that mission in the 1870s, 1880s, and really did a lot for the cause of land reform in the Highlands in Scotland. And, you know, the commission, the Napier Commission, that reported on the crofters' status and helped the Crofters Act of 1886 come out, which is still law, was really, I think, pushed forward a lot by John Murdoch's tramping around, getting people's testimonies, you know, telling people that they could do better, telling people that they should fight back. And the reason I call this someone in a toxic relationship or recovering from a toxic relationship is that the relationship is capitalism. The clearances were about rich people clearing poor people off land that they rented and taking away their secure land tenure so that they could make higher profits. So this created vast waves of migration, pauper population in the cities, fodder for wars that people were going to fight because they had no choice but to go to the military, and fodder for the factories. So they influenced industrial giants who needed to make higher profits. So in terms of a toxic relationship, I'm going to go rogue and call it capitalism a toxic relationship and say this guy was trying to help people out of that toxic relationship. And there's loads of details. I've got 2 chapters left. I'm almost finished, 30 pages. And we'll be talking about this in my next Wednesday wrap up. Not this week, but next week in April. The second Wednesday in April. So it's really good. It's really good. He's very admirable, so I'm liking that a lot. Let's see. Prompt number 6, we have Villette. And I never know. I want to say Villette, and then I go, but that sounds weird. I don't know if they would do the L. Didi or Melissa, help me out here. Put me out of my misery. How do you pronounce this in French? Name a book about a character in a new land. And so here is my also inventive response to this prompt, which is going to be We're thinking. Do Me a Favor by Kathy Yardley. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So before we go into this prompt, Melissa says, I looked it up. Different sources rank them differently, but overall, the states with top indigenous populations are, Alaska, Alaska, Oklahoma, Arizona, California, New Mexico, Texas. Okay. Besides forgetting Alaska, we were getting to some consensus there. That's good. Off topic, but I thought I'd tie up the thread. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, Arizona. Huh. Okay. That makes sense. I guess, yeah. Anyway, we had a really interesting discussion of this when we were talking about the Indian card, because it's like, how do you categorize ethnicity? And the author of that, I can't remember. It's a 3 Schuett-Peltz, I think. Carrie Schuett-Peltz. She says it changed the population, the census reporting changed because you had the option to check more than one box starting in 1990 or 2000. And so that changed a lot in terms of how people reported their ethnicity and whatnot. So it was really interesting reading about that. Jim says, Wuthering Heights has several toxic relationships, and yet you don't see me promoting that book, do you, Jim? Because I think it's garbage. It's so unsatisfying. I cannot recommend other people read it. Hi, Matt. Welcome to the Bronte Novel Book Tag. Melissa says, fascinating account of Scottish history. Thank you. No. Villette. Yeah. Okay, good. I was saying it right. Yeah. I always think the same as you, Margaret, pronouncing the ville and Villette like the word in French, but I don't. Yeah. So Dee Dee's handed it down from the mountaintop. I'll believe her. All right, Melissa's hopping off. So glad I got the first 25 minutes. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you, Melissa. So we're on number 5, which is Villette, Do Me a Favor by Kathy Yardley. So I read the first of Kathy Yardley's latest books. So this is sort of a new vein for her. It's got a big full moon on the cover. Role playing. And that was good. It's got a disabled character. It's got a mature age level for the characters, which is different, and video games. So she's taking elements that don't typically get treated, given center stage in romantic comedies, and giving them center stage. So this one, Do Me a Favor, is also dealing with actually, well, the center stage is for caregivers and caregiving and self-care. So there's that discussion, and mature age of central characters. So I appreciate that when I see it. So it's a stranger in a new land, right? A character in a new land. So she has gone to a house she's inherited out in the islands off of Washington, which is cool because it's in my backyard. And she sees this neighbor family is a bit of a mixed family in terms of step kids and grandparents, and some multi-generational and whatnot. And the handyman on the island, who she turns out to need, lives next door. So they develop a relationship as friends, and she's working stuff out in her life, and he's working stuff out in his life, and they both like... She's a cookbook recipe developer also, which is cool. And yeah, so she's in a new place, doesn't know anyone, has always been on her own, taking care of herself, and has to learn how to rely on other people. And he is someone who always has taken care of people because he is not a widower, but was abandoned by the mother of his twins early. So he's always had to take care of the kids on his own. Just a really nice look. Kathy Yardley does this like gentle, devastating romantic comedy really well. So definitely recommend this. Prompt number 6, Wuthering Heights. Have I read Wuthering Heights? Yes, I have. And I will never get that time back. Name a book where a house or other building plays a major role. Ooh, okay. So for this one, let me bring it up here for you. This is another Native American writer, Diane Wilson, and the book is called The Seed Keeper. So I talked about this recently. This book is a novel where a woman, we've got multiple timelines, but I guess we'll start out with, she starts out with a loss, and so she goes to a place where she grew up, and it's been abandoned for a long time. So seeing that house as it is now, as she remembers it in her memories, is really powerful. And this is a woman who is Native, but was placed in foster care early on and has been married to a white man for a couple decades. So there's a lot mixed up in that to unpack. She also has an adult son who she meets and talks with in the current timeline, I'll say, in the farmhouse that she shared with the white farmer. And this is in, I think it's in Minnesota or Wisconsin. They blend my head, sorry. And yeah, so that home is also really dramatically interpreted because of her experiences in it. And they had a marriage where she was fleeing something and he was a safe haven, but then the sort of culture clash and the power dynamics of that worked themselves out in a way where she felt like really powerless in her time there, or like identityless, let's say. So that's a bit of what she's coming back from. But really, really well done. We also get some of her antecedents, some of her family members before her last surviving, which is her father, and their timelines in experiences in the area, because it's their traditional land. And that was also really cool. It wasn't a house, but it is the place that they know well. And so that was really good. Just really loved this book. So highly recommend as well. And then we have the people I'm tagging. So we're done with the tag. I'm tagging Mr. Sosotri's CG rated books and already overbooked because I think more men need to know more about the Brontes. That's just me. That's just me. Oop. So this one are the people that I'm tagging so that they can find that easily. And let me catch up here. Jim said, I enjoyed role-playing. Yeah, I thought you just read one of hers. One of only 3 contemporary romances I've ever read. Bravo for going outside the comfort zone. There's romances and then there's romantic comedies. Like Sophie Kinsella, I would say very quirky heroines and very funny. Like they make me laugh out loud, the 2 that I've read. So I don't know if you've read her, but can recommend. Dee Dee says Kindred or Dawn character in a new land. Yeah, new land. I mean, time slip would definitely put you in a new land. And Dawn, I'm not as familiar with. I think it's in the same. I mean, I know it's by Octavia Butler. Is it in the same family of books or is it a different series? I can't remember. Dee Dee also says North Woods. If that is for a new land or the house. Oh, that's the house, because that's, I think, Maine over the years, the house and how it gets transformed. Didn't you just read this? I think I remember your chat talking about this recently. And Jim says Jamaica Inn by Daphne du Maurier has a Wuthering Heights vibe. The gothic, yeah, the drama, dark brooding male character, the moors, the sense of place around Jamaica Inn. The moors, but they're it's like Devon, isn't it? Isn't it in Devonshire? Does Devonshire have moors? The big bog? Yeah. I would say that's pretty similar in terms of vibes, but having never been there yet, can't really say. I have been on the Yorkshire moors though, so I can speak to that. Anita says, a recent read for me, House of Frank would work for the Wuthering Heights prompt. So the house plays a major role. Yeah, House of Frank. I think you and I'm not going to place who else it was. I definitely heard glowing reviews for this. And the audio version as well. So, yeah, from the audiophile folks. So yeah. Different series. Okay, so Dawn's a different series. Is it the Brood? No, that's different. See, I'm getting mixed up. I didn't prepare this. So, like my brain. I woke up with a migraine this morning and I took 2 Advil already, which is like usually the amount I take in a month, and I've already taken like 3 this week. So, but I'm glad I can read the screen. Yes, I did. Yeah, Northwoods is a recent one. Okay, I remember you talking about it. Rebecca as well for the house, the vibes. I haven't read any Daphne du Maurier. I have, I think, 2 of hers on my shelf back home, but haven't read her yet. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I did read, what is it? Who is the author? There's another house book. The author who wrote Ripley. Not Susan. Talented Mr. Ripley. There's a house book. House on the Hill. Somebody put me out of my misery. Oh, okay. I was getting it. Okay, Lilith's Brood is Dawn. It's the same world series. Okay. Help me sort my brain out. I'm sorry. Yeah, I appreciate that. It's Cornwall on the Bodmin Moor. Oh, okay. I was close. Devon and Cornwall. Yeah. There's also Dartmoor and Exmoor. Yeah, see, I need to explore all these. The thing is, I did a little mini book haul in the productivity stream for the final Friday, last Friday. And one of the books I got was by someone who did Cornwall, and she's made up this like 19th century. I think it's probably an American. Could be a British author. I don't know. She's new to me. Pulciney Moor or Harbor or something like that. But yeah, it was like the 80s. I think that was a favorite place to set things. Kind of like Poldark has given it a little bit of a renaissance. But yeah. Cat Paw, thank you. Let's see. Du Maurier is awesome. I know. Oh, Patricia Highsmith. That's who I was thinking of. No, I think you spelled it right. Yeah, Patricia Highsmith. Cat Paw says, Du Maurier is my favorite author. Oh my goodness. Well, you should definitely do the Bronte Novels book tag then, Cat Paw. If you want to like put it on, where do you write stuff? Facebook or Blue Sky? If you want to do Blue Sky. Because if you like the Brontes, if you like Du Maurier, you'll probably like these prompts, because I think Melinda did a good job of theming the prompts. Patricia Highsmith wrote Ripley. So what's the one on the hill? The other house book that she wrote that's very popular with Booktube. It's not the House on the Hill, but it's the house. You guys know what I'm talking about. That would also work for this prompt, and I'm sure loads of people have read it. So. Okay. So hopefully we'll see some people do the tags. I did check. No one from the other two tags has done the tags yet for the 6-course meal and the rock on Celtic songs. So, but it takes people a while. It takes me usually like a couple months to get to a tag, so that's fine. No thanks. My neurodivergent as struggles with those. Oh, okay. No worries. Mad says, I'm all in for Du Maurier too. All right. Hold on. So let me bring this back up. No, I've got a Du Maurier book. Let's see. I'm going to go to my home page, stop searching in my owned books, and then look for Daphne. We'll see what we have. And then I'm going to ask you which one I should start with, because I've asked this before and I haven't done it. So you guys have the chance to direct my history. Is it not included? Hungry Hill is the one that I have from my grandparents, but I think I also have not. Oh, dang, I don't have it listed. All right, so Rebecca, Jamaica Inn. I also have my cousin Rachel. That's the one that I have. Okay, so what do you guys think? Should I start with Rebecca, Jamaica Inn? I mean, people talked about Rebecca so much and like pastiche it. They've done versions of it, so it's hard not to know the twist. But Jamaica Inn, my cousin Rachel, or the wild card, which no one has read, which is Hungry Hill, which is a Daphne du Maurier that is not so well known. What do you think? Jim has read Jamaica Inn, and Rebecca both were 5-star reads. Need to read more. Okay. Black House. Patricia Highsmith. No. It's Patricia Highsmith House. Isn't it her? What creepy. What is it? It's not the Black House. It's something else that's really popular. Unless it's the Susan Hill written book instead of Patricia Highsmith. Let's see. Susan Hill. House on the Hill. What? House on Fire. House on Main Street. No, Google is wrong. What is it? It's the one where like the house is like creepy and you don't know. There's an unreliable narrator. Gosh. Okay. Well, I will just. Anita's got it. Hill House. I had Hill. I had House. I had a creepy. That is who I was thinking of. See, this is where I get all my gothic authors mixed up because I haven't read any of them. Sorry, everybody. Anita's got me. The Haunting of Hill House. Everyone's talked about it. Yeah. And I read it for a book club a long time ago and was like, okay, yeah. May as well go with the classic du Maurier. Okay, that's a vote for Rebecca. Start with Rebecca. That's the most popular. Rebecca's a good start. Okay, that's 3 votes. Kappa also says Hungry Hill is excellent, especially if you're into history. Someone's read it. Kappa's read it. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, well then I have 2, and I have one on my shelf and the other not. So I think I'll probably read Hungry Hill first, but not in the next few months because I'm down here in California. You guys have helped me sort that out. Okay, Shirley Jackson, Patricia Highsmith, Daphne du Maurier. They're all of a tone. Is that accurate? I think. Okay. So, in case you came here looking for news about the Samantha Shannon interview, I should have said this at the top of the hour. We had to reschedule because of some scheduling issues, but I'm waiting for her to get back to me on the new date. So still going forward, but probably in April. Yeah. So I did the author update. I did the interview originally for today update. I did the tag that I didn't get to finish last 2 weeks ago, I guess, Sunday. And so we are done for the day. I will just say coming up, if anyone has any events, pop them in the chat. My next live will be first Friday. So we're into April. So I'll have a first Friday productivity stream, and who knows what the author update then will be. I could be done. Who knows? But yeah, until then, thank you for watching. Good luck in all your endeavors. Take care of yourself. Happy reading. Diversify that reading list. Let me know what you're up to. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you again soon.